Gosh, I haven't done one on here for a little while. I have not done one directly on here in a while, ladies and gents. How are we? I can hear myself talking back, which is not cool, is it? Oh my gosh. Can everybody let me know you can hear me? Smash the thumbs up for me. Put me a love heart. Let me know what's going on with you. I'm going to take this off because I always get a bit warm when I'm doing these videos. Hi, Kimmy, darling. I hope you're well. I've just realised that I have not had any food. It's 6 o'clock here in Spain, and I've had absolutely nothing to eat. So not cool, ladies and gents. Not cool at all. Please, please, please do let me know. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jane. Thanks for letting me know. I've just got a message off of a girl that I met on a flight on the way back from Mexico, which is a sign in itself. And she's just said thank you for something that I sent her. So it's like everything's going off at the moment. It really, really is. How are we all going? You beautiful bunch. I am on my own today, as you can see. You're going to get a dose of loose on our own. So I am, yeah, it's 6 o'clock in the evening and I've had no food, which is not okay, is it? Like, it's not sensible. I'm here teaching you guys how to love yourselves and look after yourselves. And here's me not following my own advice, ladies and gents. So I'm going to call myself out on it. Hi, Doug. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Patricia. Hi, everybody. Good to hear from you. Good to see you. So I'm calling myself out on my own bullshit right now. I need to get off of here and have some food because I've got an evening of calls until late this evening, and then I've got early gym sessions, going out for a beautiful day tomorrow. I'm just basically going to have a day about me tomorrow. I think it's very much needed, which is interesting because I have got so much bloody work on at the moment, but I really do feel that it's very, very important for me to take that time tomorrow and just be a little bit present. So I've actually written some notes. I never write notes. But there's a few key points that I actually want to cover off today. Now, before I do that, my book is out. I don't have it with me, but my book is out. If you go to the description field of this video, you will be able to order. There's two different processes currently. One is for the UK. If you are in the UK, you can literally click a link and it will be delivered to your door. If you are international, you need to send an email to my support team, and either myself or Morwenna or somebody will come back to you and give you the details as to what's going on with that. They will give you a cost for shipping, and then literally all you need to do is send the money and then we'll get the book sent straight out to you. It's as simple as that. It's just a little bit manual right now because of the Royal Mail issues that we've got going on. So we are working on it. Oh my gosh, another person's finished the book. This is amazing. So I've had a number of people reach out saying, hey, I finished the book in 4 days. Hey, I've done this, or hey, I've done that, which is really, really, really exciting. I'm actually quite intrigued and quite excited to hear what some of you, yes, I'm live, Lizzie. I'm quite excited to see and hear what some of you are saying. The main bit of feedback that I've been getting, which I'm loving, by the way, is I cannot put this book down. So let me know in the chat if that is you. I've had hundreds of messages from hundreds of different people all around the world, basically saying, once that book is in my hand, I literally cannot put it down. So absolutely amazing. Mary, I know yours is ordered because it's gone out. I know that about you because it's gone out. So just so you know, I don't know how long it's going to take to get to you or any of that stuff, but just know that it has happened. So that's all good. The weather in Spain is okay. It's been a bit chilly today. Thank you for asking, Trevor. It's been a little bit chilly today. So I was training this morning and it was cold. It was cold. Although I got the massive sweat on because I was running and I was doing all sorts of bits and pieces. It's amazing. But I was in the gym maybe 2 hours this morning or an hour and a half this morning. So, but it was chilly. The air was a bit fresh. but now it's beautiful out there. The wind has dropped down. I was actually sat out on the terrace and I was bloody freezing earlier today. Like I was sat there really cold and I'm like, what are you doing sitting outside? Because the sun is out, I literally, the sun is out. So I just feel like I had to be sat out there. Not that the sun is on the terrace, but you can see the ocean and you can see the sky and all that good stuff. For those of you that don't know, because you don't follow me on social media, I was away on a mission this weekend. It was so powerful. And if you are not in my Conscious Conversations community, go and jump in there. I'm going to be talking about it this evening on Conscious Conversations. There's also lots of other things that I'm going to bring to the party in that, talking around some situations to do with lockdown and to do with other bits and pieces like that. And as always, it's just my perspective, but it's not the kind of conversations I can have here without losing my YouTube channel. So as you guys know, I have to take all of those conversations offline and people can ask me my complete opinions without me having to go, can I say this word? Can I not say this word? This weekend was very, very, very powerful on many, many different angles. Certain things had to happen this weekend that I needed to see. I actually feel very close to the place where we were. For a reason, a family reason. It's a connection family wise. And so for me, it was a very, very, very special journey. And the place was stunning. I don't even know what pictures I've posted so far, but I am going to post some more. The place was absolutely stunning. It was a bit obscure. I got completely led off on a tangent. I got completely, bamboozled. David got bamboozled. Very, very interesting what went on over the weekend, but it was all divinely orchestrated. It all had to happen. I'm glad it happened. I have a level of clarity with me today that is like I've not had in a long time, put it that way. Yesterday I had a level of love that I've never felt in my life. Honestly, yesterday there was love running through my body like I'd never felt before, and I think that was very pertinent to where I was and the situation that I was in. Today it's a different feeling. It's clarity. So yes, these are very aligned to the new moon. So the new moon was on Saturday, which of course was why we were doing such a big mission, which is why, of course, there was some manipulation that took place on Saturday early in the day. And the thing that I loved the most was the darkness was trying to lead the mission astray on Saturday. It really was. And then all of a sudden I just went into this, right, nobody is going to fuck with me. I was like, can I swear here? Yeah, I can swear. Nobody is going to fuck with me. I am going to do this. And I just kind of went off and went on a mission. And I mean a mission. I was climbing up mossy banks. I was jumping across streams and through puddles and stuff because I physically couldn't get where I needed to go without doing that stuff. And this is the elements of the stuff that you guys don't see. It always looks glamorous, the pictures, the videos, it always looks ever so glamorous, but the side of it that you don't get to see is where there is manipulation taking place. I don't profess to be anything that you guys aren't. I mess up. I say things that I shouldn't say. I every now and again get angry. Every now and again I have to check myself and I'm like, oh, where did that come from? I am human like you guys are. And this is why I try and normalize everything that we're all going through. We're all going through things at the moment. Nobody is not going through a healing journey. So it's extremely, extremely important. I've actually been trying to avoid the fact that it's 2323 gem for a reason. Yes, it's a very powerful number, but there is somebody who's attached to that number who's extremely, extremely compromised. So I'm pretending it's not happening today, but trust me, it's happening. So I'm going to keep my opinions to myself on the energetics around today. I know the energies that are working through. I know the energies that are working through people that we know, people that we love, and I just have to stand back and hold space right now. So I know that's a little bit of a side step around the thoughts of 2323, but I I don't know if you're on Conscious Conversations. If you are, maybe ask me on there and I'll share it openly. But here I'm not so comfortable sharing that, because obviously this is a very public platform, and certain words that I would like to use I know would get my channel banned. And also, I can give good examples when it's on my territory. It's just not easy to do it here. So I hope that doesn't offend you too much, sweetheart. The new moon was very powerful though. But what is coming in the second half of January is a very, and we're in the second half of January, is a massive sense of love taking place. It is going to be happening over the next few days. Definitely stepping into February, it's going to be much more love driven than the karmic shattering of the ties that we have had to step through in recent days and weeks. The feeling, if you haven't watched my video on the new moon energy, go and watch it. It's not too late. There's an exercise in there. You can do it for about 10 days after the new moon. If you're feeling the effects of the new moon quite a lot, you can go in there and you can do that. But the energy is going to shift. The energy is going to shift big time for Soul School. And when we're at Soul School, it is going... Excuse me, I don't know why I'm just having to start hiccuping right now, so apologies. The energy that is going to be around us at Soul School is like nothing we've ever experienced before. I'm not going to say we're not going to have some shit hit the fan. There's been a lot of things. I'll explain it on the Soul School call tomorrow. There's been a lot of things that have come in and disrupted and, taken things on a different path. But I'm trusting that everything is happening is exactly as it needs to. And I do trust that about life generally. Like I say, on Saturday, there was a situation whereby my ego was like, but I don't want this to be this way. I don't want it. But it actually happened divinely. And what happened off the back of that was I got the absolute gold that was needed to take us to a place that was actually very, very important for the mission that we're on. It's a very, very, very important mission, this piece that I've been working on this weekend just gone. And you know what, guys, sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes you feel you've been led astray. Sometimes you feel like you are literally being led up the garden path, and you want people to be supporting you. You want people to be there holding your hands, and they're not, and they can't. And your ego does pipe up at that point. Like, why the fuck does it always have to be me? Like, I'm a 5'4" woman. This is sometimes what happens. That isn't what happened this weekend, but sometimes I'm like I'm just little. Let me just do the things in the background. But no, they've got me clambering up things. I had to climb under something pretty precarious on Saturday, and I didn't enjoy it. I don't enjoy. It's not the first time I've had to do that in the last 12 months either. I have to get into caves and into places, and it's not nice. We are on the battlefield though. We are on the battlefield, ladies and gents. We have come such a long way. Oh, Lisa, I know I'm loved. I know I'm loved so much. Rosie, my husband, just walked in and looked at the screen saying, she's pretty. I had to laugh. Obviously, Lucy is. Oh, thank you, hubby. Thank you. That was a nice message. Rosie, thank your husband for me, please. That was a message that was needed today. So thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, I love him. His intuition's like, go and let that little Lucy know when she's having a moment about her height. That's very sweet. Thank you. This is the thing, guys. I like to share this with you, not because I want, I need Rosie's husband to tell me she's pretty. It's not about that. This is just sometimes we all get that moment of, oh my God, really? Do I have to keep doing this? And there has been times recently where I've thought to myself, I'm not doing this. I'm not taking people's shit. I'm not taking people's projections anymore. I'm doing all this work for humanity. And what am I getting as gold out of it? But that's just ego. It's just ego. Of course, there is so much gold. I get to hang out with you guys every Monday. I get to hang out with my gorgeous communities that I've created. I get to travel the world, and I get the abundance to be able to travel the world. What is there not to be grateful for from all of that? The only thing, every now and again, I literally just want to kick back Like, I just want to kick back and I just want to relax and I just want to be present with my loved ones and, like go and sip a pina colada, sat on a sun lounger and just have a moment, and it's just not that, my life. Nicola, my love, it's lovely to meet you again. Thank you so much for checking in and I'm pleased you like the videos on Mondays. I'm actually going to be cranking up this channel big time. I've got some amazing interviews organised. I'm going to be doing more stuff on my own as well because I just think it's really important. We are stepping into a bit of a tricky period. Some of you will know that, some of you won't. If you hang around me on my conscious conversations, you will know that. But the reason I wanted to speak about the subject that I'm going to speak about tonight, and that's all around authenticity and standing in your truth. So authentically standing in your truth. Now, before you guys go off on a tangent and think it's going to be about this and think it's going to be about the war and the lockdowns and all kind of things like that, it's not about that today. Like, it can be about that. And of course, you can put whatever spin on it you need to. But today, I would like to raise the consciousness on how few people are standing in their truth right now. Even the people that say they're standing in their truth, they're not. And it's very important. This is a very important subject. How can we empower ourselves to stand in our truth when we are riddled in trauma? How can we empower each other to stand in our truth when their truth really pisses us off? Like, how do we get to do that? And this is what's so important right now. It's Colleen has literally just said it. Standing in your truth is very lonely. It is the most lonely thing. I find it constantly. If I share my feelings or if I share my opinions, to somebody that is not healed, they have a huge reaction. Why are you so rude? Why are you so brutal? Why are you this? Why are you that? So, you know what? Little 8-year-old Lucy, where all of her trauma got created, goes into I'm going to close down. I'm going to shut my voice down. I'm going to get angry. I'm going to run away. Now, I'm sharing from my perspective so that you guys can connect the dots for you. It's very easy to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, well, that's Lucy's pattern. What are your patterns? Nobody, and I mean nobody, is clean on this. Nobody. And if anybody says, oh, yeah, like they get challenged and they just look at it as somebody else's projection, like I can do that. Whenever somebody comes to me and they're like, they put me down or they say something nasty, like I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They're showing me where they're at with themselves. Someone made a comment recently about me. This is going to make a lot of you laugh, but basically they said, oh, Lucy's black magic. Now, that person is sharing where they were at. That's where they are sharing where they are at. And this is why everything that people say to us is a projection. Now, if you say to somebody, hey, I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like this. You can't question somebody's feelings. Okay, you need to authentically be like, oh, wow, like this person is feeling like this. You don't get to decide if that is right or wrong. You get to listen and you get to say, right, do I want to sit with this? How can I help this person realize that actually that feeling is coming from a space of insecurity or whatever? Like, I don't know, whatever it could be. Yeah, Lizzie, I think you're absolutely bang on with that one. Definitely, that emotion is a pretty heavy one, and it is something that is extremely prevalent right now. Rather than saying, "Hey, what can I do to join in, or what can I do to learn, or how can I embrace this situation?" Jealousy is coming up pretty strong right now. So it's a very, very interesting emotion. That one, a lot of people don't own it. A lot of people are having trust issues come up. If you actually watch the new moon video, very much trust is coming up from people right now. And what we've got to remember, ladies and gents, and Lizzie, this goes to that comment as well, is I called that comment in. I had to have that comment. There was something in me that was like, right, I need to deal with this. Now, when I heard that, I was like, wow, isn't that an interesting perspective that person's come at me like that? Like, oh, they're really showing me that they're not comfortable in their own skin. And they're really showing me that actually maybe they're doing a few underhand things, or maybe they're manipulating. Like, for me, I don't get angry at comments like that. Like, it doesn't affect me. Now, that's me standing in my authentic truth. I am authentic in the fact that I can look at things and be like, wow, thank you for showing me where you're at. Now, that said, if you are sharing with a partner or a mother or a father or a child or a loved one, and you're sharing something vulnerable, and you are allowing yourself to be vulnerable, like you're stood there authentically raw and naked, maybe, not literally naked, but you know what I mean. You're stood there and you're like, wow, I'm letting you in right now. Like, I don't feel comfortable with this situation. I feel like like this is hurting me right now. Most people that do not know how to be like, okay, right, where is this coming from within your wounds? And they take it as a criticism at themselves, because remember, this is a projection of me. If I'm saying I'm hurting right now, that's a projection of where I'm feeling, babes, where has this hurt stemmed from? That's the conversation that needs to take place here. But that isn't what happens. Most people go, oh, for God's sake, why are you doing this? Why are you creating this? And they create a conflict, even though both of you don't want a conflict. Or there is an avoidance tactic. I'm just going to switch down and walk away. That's very interesting as well. Anybody that is not prepared to have difficult conversations is loaded with trauma. I, on the other hand, am completely the opposite end. If there's a conversation that probably should be avoided or is probably difficult, I'm going to wade on in there, because I don't like assumptions. I don't like having things bubbling under the surface. And let me know in the chat box what you think on this. How do you feel with this? Are you somebody that just, you want to have the conversation, you want to get it out there, you want to be literally, I love it. All of you are like, this is literally me right now. Thanks. This is literally me. It's going on all around the world. Like, genuinely, these energies are so profound right now. It is happening like every single second of every single day, and it's all about how you can navigate this. And sometimes you just need to tell somebody to fuck off. Like, that is the truth. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what, this is me authentically speaking, and I need to tell you to fuck off right now, because if you don't like me in my raw authentic self, then so you need to decide whether you are somebody that wants things out in the open, or if you're prepared to sweep things under the carpet. Now, for me, sweeping something under the carpet is never going to work, because what will happen is it will surface as something else. It will do. I'm a question asker. I'm a master question asker. I ask question after question after question. Like, people get pissed off with me because I ask so many questions, but it's because I do not want to make assumptions. I do not want to, make a mountain out of a molehill. I need to get to the truth, or I need to get to where I am. And sometimes that's really tricky. So what happens when you are in your authentic self and you are sharing, oh my goodness gracious me, I am like really not in alignment with the certain things that the government are pushing right now. Like, you go to your mum and you're like, hey mum, I know that you are a big fan of the the government and doing the systems and playing that game, but you know what, like, that's not my truth. That's not me being authentic. Like, I'm a rebel. I like to really, really like test the water and see how I can navigate things and see what I can get away with. I like to push a few boundaries. Just because you have a differing view to your mum does not mean you need to fall out. It does not mean that she is wrong and you are right, or you're wrong and she's right. It literally means that you are in a position where you are willing and able to stand in your authentic truth, even though it might mean that your mum shuns you. Now, Mandy in the chat has put, hiding the facts or truth never solves anything. I totally agree with you, Mandy. It's trauma, right? When people lie, it's trauma. When people hide the truth, it's trauma. When people are devious, it's trauma. When people are shady, it's trauma. It's trauma rather than being open and authentic. I love that, Trevor. I agree we should ask questions, but people do get annoyed at that. But I always go on to say why I'm asking questions. Good for you. Good for you. I believe that questions are what helps us all. Questions are what niggle people. If you have got somebody who's honest and they are asking you questions, like, you're never going to get annoyed. If you're standing in your authentic truth and somebody's asking you questions, you're never going to get annoyed. The only time you will get annoyed with somebody asking you questions is if you are lying, or if you are being devious, or you are not standing in your authentic truth and you've been caught. So this is what we need to observe. Now, remember, yes, it might rile you up when you're asking those questions and you're getting the pushback, and you know damn well you're asking these questions and you're watching them project. I don't need to answer this. My God, why do you ask so many questions? Why are you being a control freak? No, I'm asking questions so that there is no assumptions being made. It's as simple as that. And people show you where they are at. Even if I'm in the middle of an argument, if somebody starts asking me questions, I know I will be able to answer them authentically and real, because that is the place where I am. I am normally pissing people off because I'm authentic. I'm normally pissing people off because I am so bloody honest and I am standing in my truth. I think I shared last week on an Instagram live. I went into an appointment over here, and a lady asked David and I to put masks on. And I, even before he even acknowledged any of this, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I haven't worn one in all these months. I'm not going to start wearing it now. And the woman looked shocked. And then obviously David said, we're not going to be wearing masks. So, like, he started speaking in Spanish and just explaining to the lady that it's not law and yada, yada, yada. So, like, I ended up walking out of there because I did not want to put a mask on. Now, I'm not saying you're a bad person if you wear a mask or if you don't wear a mask. Do you? Like, this video today is about being authentic. It is my authentic view on life. It is me standing in my truth to be able to breathe fresh air. Simple as that. I want to breathe oxygen. If you don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine. I'm never going to judge you for it. But I stood in my authentic truth, even though I was kind of biting my nose off to spite my face because there was a couple of things that needed to get done. But my philosophy is, I'm not going to go through something whereby I have to stand out of my truth just to get an answer. I'll go find somebody else with the answer. I'll go find somebody else who's not going to make me wear a mask. And this is the kind of avenue that I want to come at this from today. It's not nice having to have those conversations. We're living in the year 2023, for goodness sake. Like, we are literally living in 2023. We should not have to be suffocated. We should not have to be dealing with this stuff, but we are right now. So it's down to you how you stand in your truth. Now, Lizzie has put, trauma or no trauma, no one should speak to another in a demeaning way. I love being questioned. It shows that the other person is interested in what you are about. Yes. Now, if you have nothing to hide, and I'm going to go back to it, if you have nothing to hide, why would you get angry at questions? If you are literally stood in your authentic self, if you are stood in your truth, why would you get angry at questions? Now, it's difficult sometimes, especially for psychics and intuitives and people that know, like, and we're all coming back online. We all know when someone's bullshitting us. Like, how do you deal with that? You know somebody is stood in front of you lying. You know that somebody is getting angry with you because you are asking questions and they feel uncomfortable because they're going to have to start lying soon to keep up the story. Yes. So, Hannah, your partner thinks you are judging him when you ask questions. So, where has that come from? Where has that come from? Why would somebody think that you are judging because you are asking questions for clarity? At some point in the past, I'm not saying he's doing it now, but at some point in his past, he would have had to lie to get out of a situation. And when he got questioned, he had to keep that lie up. So this is an old trauma coming to the surface. Maybe he has a parent that is completely narcissistic, or maybe he has a parent that made lies very normal. I don't know the situation, sweetheart, but it's an obvious one. So he now thinks that he needs to lie, or he is being judged because you are asking questions. It's old trauma. People will punish people. when they are not in their authentic truth. They will. They'll punish people. They will punish people by doing things like abandoning them, going silent on them. It's all of the inner child trauma coming to the surface. What was their coping mechanism back then? How did they cope with being judged, being lied to? How did they cope with feeling that they're not good enough? Okay, so in the chat here we've got, my parents are both liars and I used to hate questions, but I also hate lies. Now I welcome the questions to find out more about myself. I love that. Good job. Good job. It's amazing that we are starting to recognize these things in ourselves. Like, I know I am the person that if I am challenged and challenged and challenged and challenged and basically made out to be a liar and things like that, like I get to a point and I'll be like, boom, and I'm off. You know, there is only so much somebody can push me, you know, before I tell somebody to fuck off. Now, I'm not saying that that's right. I'm not saying that's wrong, but I know that that is the way that it is. So Hannah is saying, yes, there is a trauma with a parent, but he is not willing to look at it. It's often the way. It's often the way. Now it's your job to make sure that you've got the boundaries in place and decipher whether you are willing to put up with that. What we've got to remember, ladies and gents, is we are all calling in everything that we need to heal. Are you willing to live a life whereby you're not allowed to ask questions, or live a life whereby you're not allowed to share feelings, or live a life whereby, you know, like you're going to be judged for asking questions? Like, and this is not me putting ideas in anybody's head. This is just me saying you need to make that decision. You need to sit with it. You need to ask yourself why you've called that in. You need to ask yourself if you are being 100% honest. You know, because if these things are coming up in your life, like, is it you that you need to look at? And then when you are stood in your truth, your partner will mirror that back to you. Like, this is the whole point. We are all mirroring everything to each other. We are constantly mirroring. So at what point do we decide that we look at ourselves? Like, I always look at myself first. You know, I always look at myself first. Right? Why am I calling this in? Why am I like allowing myself to get drawn into this person's inauthenticity? So what happens when you are stood in your authentic truth? So Hannah, you know, she's standing in her authenticity. She wants to ask questions like, babe, I just, you know, like, what's this and what's that and how's this and how's that? And she's getting pushed back on and pushed back on and pushed back on. All of the stuff then comes up in you. Why am I? Oh, you know, am I being needy? Am I being nosy? Am I being judgmental? And this is what is fascinating right now. All of us are going through a healing process, a healing journey. Nobody is safe. There are people out there that are like, oh no, I'll get through this with ease and grace. Oh, I can't wait for this to happen. Oh, I can't wait for, you know, these spiritual situations to come on. And I'm like, really? Every single one of us are being tested to the max right now. We have asked to heal. We came down here. We wanted to do this. So we have got to keep doing it. Oh, Denise, this is huge. This is huge. And the thing is, most importantly, the most important message of this is most people are too scared to be authentic, because what if my partner leaves me? What if my mum won't speak to me anymore? You know, and this has been compounded over the last couple of years, 3 years, with the situation that's been taking place. You know, we're almost 3 years, you know, since our first lockdown. So I just want to bring this into your consciousness. You need to figure out what is authentic to you. Now, I've let my standard slip recently. I haven't hid this at all, but you know, David hates me journaling. Like, honestly, he says he doesn't, but he really doesn't like me journaling. He takes the mick. He says, you know, you dedicate so much time to that, and yada yada yada. And I've actually let that slip recently. I've let it slip, and that's not authentic for me. Authenticity for me is documenting what's going on in my mind, documenting my thoughts, knowing what I channel. And the fact that I've let that slip is on me. why have I handed my power over? Like, why have I done that? That's on me. That's not on him. I don't have to listen to it. And this is why I'm sharing these situations, or this situation today. So personally, this one about the journaling, because I hope that you guys start to realize. So Hannah, look at where you have sacrificed things and now you're trying to claw it back. You're like, this is about standards. This is about setting the tone. This is about you recognizing what is authentic to you. So I am learning to ask myself, where do I lie to myself? Where am I not honest with myself? Great job. That's such a good question. And that's something that I do constantly, especially when I'm being shown devious behavior and sneaky shit. I'm like, whoa, okay, right. Where have I been being devious? Where have I been being inauthentic? Where have I been lying to people? And then if you're like, no, like that isn't where I'm at right now. That isn't what's been happening. And like, I mean, you really call yourself on it, honestly about this, then you need to recognize that it's a boundary. Then you need to recognize that you've called this healing in to be able to use your voice, to be able to stand in your truth. Parental trauma is being mirrored constantly right now. Mary has put, I can recognize when I'm repeating parental trauma to my children as they mirror it back. Thank God I can see it. Yeah, right. And I can see it in people. I can see it constantly right now. I can see it when my mum does certain things and I'm like, oh shit, she's mirroring back to me and she's showing me. Likewise, every relationship that I've got in my life, it's extremely, extremely important. Growing is not easy. It's very, very difficult. And excuse me, safety is the most important thing for both men and women. And do hit the thumbs up if this is resonating with you, by the way, guys. Like, there's 133 of us on right now and only 37 likes. So please hit the thumbs up before you leave the video, because obviously that's how YouTube send it out and share it with other people. Feeling safe in somebody's company or feeling safe in a situation is the most important thing. I don't care whether you're man or woman. I don't care. Our number one value, our number one thing around being authentic is safety. I need to feel safe to speak my truth. I need to feel safe to speak up, even if people don't want to hear it. Like when it comes down to my social media, I'm like, oh, you can jog on, but when you're speaking to your mother or speaking to your father and you're worried they're going to leave you or stop loving you or not speak to you again, or like a partner, that kind of thing, like, is it really interesting, that all of this stuff comes up? And like I said earlier, I wrote a few things down. I can't even read my own writing. Oh, punishment. So you punish people by going silent on them or running away from them. Or, my one, I'm a bit of a bugger. I'm done. That's what I say. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done here. I'm done. And I just like, oh, that's my thing. It used to be running. I used to run. Like I was a bit of a bugger. I'd be on a plane in Thailand or somewhere else very quickly. That's exactly what I would do. So I need you to recognize that your inner child is holding you back by you not being authentic. The world needs authenticity. The world needs you to be you. The world needs you to be real. And most people don't even have their own face. Most people have Botox, fillers, false teeth, you name it, all of that stuff going on. Most people aren't themselves. We live in a world of fake. It is so brave to be authentic. It's so brave to know that if you tell somebody to fuck off, that they might actually just do that. Like, that is brave. People are scared to speak their truth because they're worried their partner might leave them. Like, for me, like, oh God, bring on the next one if that's the case. Think about it. If you think that someone is so freaking amazing, bring on the next one, because they're going to be bigger and better. If this one isn't for you, like, let it go. And now I'm not saying allow your trauma to sabotage your relationship. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, give up on something at the first sign of trauma. Like, look at yourself. Look at what you need to do. See if you can change it. Work at it. Grow. It's the best thing that you will ever do. But learn to speak your truth. Speak your truth from love. Can you imagine the stress living with walking on eggshells? It's a very, very good point. It's a very good point, Gail. I can imagine living like that. I can imagine what it's like to not know from one day to the next. I can. And it's not nice. That's not a nice way to live. So, at what point do we say, for me to be authentic, I am going to just stand in my truth no matter what? I'm not going to be a bitch. I'm not going to be nasty, but I am going to stand in my truth. And the only way I'm going to stand in my truth is because I'm going to know who I am. I have certain standards in my life. You guys know this. I talk about this all the time. I have certain standards. Now, we have to hold space. If we want certain standards for us, i.e., if I want to be brutally honest, that means I have got to hold space for my partner, my mum, my dad, whoever, to be brutally honest. You cannot be brutally honest with somebody, but then expect the other person to fluff it back up, coming back at you. Like, that is not balanced. That's abusive. Let's call it what it is. I'm feeling really raw today. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I'm feeling so freaking raw. I just feel like, people need to hear this message. There are too many of you out there that are not authentic. Whether it be the way you look, the way that you speak, the way that you act, your job, like there's so many of you that are not in alignment with your authenticity. How does the universe know what to deliver for you if you're not authentic? We've got to be looking at this, guys. Safety has come up for a lot for me lately. Good. Safety is very important. People do not get, they really do not get the importance of feeling safe, the importance of being able to share how they're feeling, the importance to be able to share where they're at in their life. Now, I really respect a person that will come to me and they'll say, I need to be held right now. Or I have this situation going on right now. And even in my head, if I think, fucking hell, pull it together, that's not my job to make that decision. If somebody comes to you and they are being vulnerable and they are being loving and they are saying, hey, like, I want to give us the opportunity to sort this. And this could be this could be, I can't obviously say the word, so please don't use that word on my chat box, please. Like, we have to, like, if somebody comes to you and say, you know what, last year I made the biggest mistake of my life. I took 3 of these. It's not up to you to judge them. It's up to you to be like, wow, what can I do? How can I hold space for you? How can I make this better? What can I do to help you on this journey? Like, how can I make this better for you? Gail, it's such wise words that you say that. I often ask myself, if they don't want to listen or they go silent on me, it's okay. It's not my journey in this life, right? It's so frustrating when somebody goes silent. It's so frustrating when somebody won't talk. It's so frustrating, but it's their shit. And then it's down to you, then it's down to you whether you're prepared to put up with that or not. It's so interesting. It's so, so, so interesting what is going on right now. We have to feel safe. For us to be able to elevate, for us to be able to ascend, firstly, we need to feel safe in our own company. And oh my God, I feel so safe on my own. Like, I'm probably reckless actually when you stop and think about it. Like, I will jump out of things, I'll do anything, I'll drive anywhere, I'll go to weird and wonderful places, I'll go on missions on my own. I will do whatever it takes for me to be able to stand in my truth and do the job that I got sent here to do for humanity. Like, literally, I am so happy on my own. You guys know I've lived on my own for the last 6 years or whatever. And, it hasn't it hasn't been a problem. So for me, I'm very comfortable on my own. That safety, for me, I need to be able to trust that when I'm with other people, that safety is maintained. Now, let me know, do you feel safe on your own, but you're not safe with other people? Or how does it show up for you? Safety is the most important. Remember, if somebody is judging you, they're judging themselves. This is all about authenticity. This is all about the projections that we're putting out. Our projection, if something is hurting you and you vulnerably say, this is hurting me, rather than like losing your shit or whatever, if you just say, hey, you know what, that really hurt. Like, and then the person makes you feel bad for saying that something's hurt you rather than holding space. Right. What can we do? Like, where's this hurt come from? How, you know, it's a very important piece of this puzzle. This is projection. People that don't like to hear other people's feelings mean that they are not prepared. They're not willing to feel their own feelings. Normally, what you'll find is that people that share their feelings and they kind of belittle your feelings. Oh, sorry, you share your feelings and they belittle your feelings. They actually are the ones that have, a lot of feelings that go on that weren't heard when they were little. So now it's just a joke. My mum was a bit of a bugger actually. When I was younger. Like, I broke my hand and she was like, oh, it's just bruised. Like, she was like that. So sometimes I find myself being like, oh, you know what? And then I'm like, no, that's my mum's trauma. That's not my stuff. It's not my stuff. Like, that's not mine to take on. So it's just another good example. You've got to be authentic. Like, I care about people. I do healing sessions, and I think I'm going to do one tonight, actually, or maybe tomorrow. But I do group healing sessions for people constantly because I know that I have this power to help people heal, and I know that it's a gift that's been given to me from God. So I'm not going to keep that to myself. Like, that's me being authentic. I want to see everybody well. I want to see everybody healthy. I want to see everybody, fit and strong and living their truth. The thing is if the other person doesn't want that, we can't want it for them. Sometimes we want things for other people more than they want it for themselves. And this is where our ego kicks in. This is where, yes, we're authentic, standing in our truth that we want to help people, but at the same time, we're sabotaging us for other people. I honestly feel safer in my world now than possibly ever in my 60 years because I've not only reconnected to my beautiful family, but to myself. As a child, the five of us were about pushing away. Yes, there's a lot of that, especially in your kind of age group. Very much like, just get on with it. Like, just man up. Just do as you, rather than loving. People actually fear being held. People actually fear their feelings being discussed because just sort it out. Just get a grip. Just get a grip, will you? Just pull it together. Just sort it out. Like, that mentality is so old-fashioned. It is so old-fashioned, and it is so important to recognize that that is a projection of somebody's trauma. Been there. It's taken years to start healing from that. Yes. Interesting. I think people are frightened to upset people. I think you might be right, my friend, Trevor. I think you are definitely right. I don't know why I've just started coughing. I'll have a quick drink. Thank you, Gail. I appreciate the fact that you think this is a good conversation. We've got to bring it back to love. Now, some people really struggle with that. Some people struggle with love. Some people struggle to be held. Some people struggle to allow people to be themselves. It's their shit, though, not yours. Now, that's challenging if you love somebody or if you want to be with somebody. And I'm talking like your mum. Like, we all love our mums, no matter how crap they were as a mum. And I was very lucky. My mum was amazing. But no matter how crap they are as a mum, we love our mum. Right? We love our mum. Like, there are children out there that have been abused by their mum and they would still be loyal to their mum because they are, it's their mum at the end of the day. We might be like, oh, that's weird. Why would you put up with that? That's utter nonsense. But that's their truth. Like, that's where they are. And it's called trauma. Everything must come back to love. We must come back to love. We must recognize that we are literally love in a skin suit. We don't know anything else. We are love. We are here to learn how to love ourselves and how to love other people. Harbinder, if you're finding it distraction, please just switch off, my darling. Please just switch off. It is a challenge. It is a challenge when you've been on your own for a long time. It is a challenge when you are trying to keep the peace. Shameen has just said here, my husband's not awake, and it's such a challenge. It's such a challenge. I get it. I get it. I really, really do. But that doesn't mean that you should close down those beautiful feelings that you've got. Please don't shut down those feelings. You are allowed to be you. You are allowed to be authentic. You are allowed to say yes or no. You are allowed to speak up. You are allowed to, put effective boundaries in place. No worries. I was called Lisa quite a lot over the weekend, so it's fine if you're calling me Lisa. Yes. Now, remember, if you are recognizing that somebody is a projector, you need to look at where you project to. It's very important that you look, because remember all of this. One of my beautiful clients today asked me an amazing question. I think she asked me a few days ago, but I responded to it today. She said, Lucy, if I'm thinking about something, does that mean I'm going to bring more of it in? Like, how do I process the emotions, and how do I process stepping through the trauma when I don't want to bring any more of it in? The whole point is that we've got to go into the trauma to feel the trauma, for us to be able to release it once and for all. It's very important. Most people go, oh, find it and then just ping it away, or, oh, yeah, just back that away. No, I don't. You've got to feel it so that you go, I never want to feel like this again. I never, ever, ever want to feel like this again. And I feel like I'm going through this bit of a journey at the moment. I'm witnessing things. I'm experiencing things, and I'm like, I never want to feel like this again. So I really, really, really have to get on top of how this is coming in and why I'm bringing it in. And it might just be this little tiny pesky thought back here from when you were 4 years old. Gail, I love that. I'm finally okay with people judging me. Me too. Like I said earlier, that comment about the black magic, oh, whatever. Like, whatever. I just, like, genuinely, I don't care. If people think that I'm doing black magic, then freaking, like, all that does is show me. It shows me where they are at with themselves. Like, life is so fascinating. Like, it is so fascinating with what's going on at the moment. So let's all just start to recognize that. I'm starting to recognize my relationship self-sabotage tactic. Oh, I love that. That's very pertinent for today. So thank you for sharing that, Hanan. That's coming up a lot. If, for me personally, intimate relationships was the last thing I needed to heal. I can take people being really nasty to me. I can take people, slagging me off and telling me this and telling me that. Like, I can deal with that, and I can put boundaries in place, and I can bat away all of that, knowing that it's their insecurity and not mine. When it comes to intimate relationships, as soon as it gets personal, oh my gosh, it's still so raw. So just recognize that. And that's where we need to go, right? If they're getting personal with me, it means that that's how they're feeling. So that's when we have to put this big coat of armor on and just be like, I'm going to stand in my truth here. I'm going to bat this away, even though it really hurts and you want to be heard. Very, very, very important here. Loving the questions today, guys. I love it, love it, love it. And that was pretty much the words that we used whilst growing in. I understand now my parents' trauma, so I know where it comes from. Only now I'm coming through it. Well done. Good point, Lucy. We do not get to cross others' boundaries. We have to expect their dominion and not cross into theirs. Exactly. Like, somebody that can hold boundaries in place respectfully, like, most people hate those people. Let's be honest about it. Most people hate those people. And they will try and bombard them or put them down or say that they're controlling, or all these other things because of a boundary. So it's down to you how good your boundaries are. It's down to you. Hey Lucy, how do you respond to a person who offloads their traumatic energy onto you and then accuses you of not supporting them? I had to pull back as it was too much, but family is so difficult. Well, first and foremost, ask yourself why you're showing up at that party. Doesn't matter if it's family. It doesn't matter if it's family. Ask yourself why you're showing up at that party. I've got a member of my family, I'm not going to say who it is, but I've got a member of my family who used to do that to me a lot. They used to make me feel guilty for not helping them. They used to make me feel guilty about a lot of other things. And then I realized that's my own shit. I wanted to be the fixer. I wanted to be the one that made everything right. And that's my ego. So I had to basically say, listen, I love you and I'm here for you, but I'm not taking on your stuff. And it's as simple as that. You need to make a decision to spend minimal time with somebody. If they're pouring their traumatic energy over you, do minimal time with them. Like, maybe just meet them for 30 minutes or, see them for an hour, but do it in small doses and have something to distract you from having the deep conversations. Like, some people are not meant to have deep conversations. Remember, we picked our family. Before we incarnated, we picked our family, and now we're all like, what on earth is going on? Like, what on earth is going on? Why would I have picked this? Why would I have picked this journey for your healing, babe? So now start to stand in your own, start to recognize who you are, start to feel what feels right. Now, you will need to practice your boundaries. Oh, thanks, girls. Thank you. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Lizzie. I appreciate that. I'm not looking fabulous. I'm just, I've just had a really busy day and I'm just doing my thing and I'm going to be sat here doing my thing until very late tonight. So, thank you, girls. I really appreciate you both. Um, yeah, just we need to recognize that we make it difficult because it's family, but it's not difficult, Celine. And like I say, I've literally lived your situation, babe. Not exactly, I'm sure, but I have, I've had to stand in my truth with my family, and it is difficult. We do want our family to love us. We do want, to fix everything. We do want everything to be good. We do want everything to be right. But you know what? That's not our path. Uh, You can wait. Page unresponsive. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? I think this might have cut off. Can you guys still hear me? I think it's gone.